Joining us on the phone right now is a man I spent many, many hours on a TV set with at Hollywood Park with the old Fox 2 show and other assorted productions in another lifetime. Mike Willman, Director of Publicity at Santa Anita. Mike, happy closing week. I know there is a lot going on these final 4 days in Arcadia.
Boy, there sure is, Kurt. Great to be with you here on HRTV/TVG. Things change, and I think the future looks really great for the whole circuit. And the Gold Cup came up big. We were afraid of a short field, and you know what, Kurt? I think that kind of motivated some people to go ahead and jump in. Hey, there's nobody we really have to duck, so we got 11 head in here.
Yeah, I was surprised, Mike, when I saw that, because last week it was looking like a small field. It's not. There's 11 horses. Favoritism, I think, going to bounce between, say, Opportunity, Moreno, and Catch a Flight. So this looks like a good race. Catch a Flight 5-2 on John White's morning line. Very interesting field.
Really interesting. And Opportunity, I think, might really be the key commodity here. He's coming back on what you would consider to be kind of short notice, but that's an indication to me that Bob Baffert is very, very confident that he's going to get a lot out of that third-place finish in the Stephen Foster at Churchill on June 13th. He had a pretty big gap going in there. He got dusted by Shared Belief in the San Antonio, and I think Opportunity is going to be he's going to bring his A race.
I'm with you, Mike. The fact he's bringing him back quick, a very positive sign for Opportunity and Martin Garcia. Looking at that field, two of the hottest trainers in Southern California are well represented. In one case, very well. Peter Miller has entered 4, and Richie Baltas has got Majestic City and Chucky Lopez into ride. So some hot trainers sent out a number of good horses.
Pretty interesting, that he takes Finnegan's Wake, does Pete Miller, and takes him off the grass. Where he's had an unbelievable year on turf, Kurt.
Yeah.
Take a look at it. 3 wins and a second from 5 starts, more than $642,000 in the bank this year alone, and we're at the halfway point. And he says, you know what? We'll tee it up with the big guys here on the main track. And he gets Mike Smith. That's huge, Kurt.
Yes, it is. Mike Smith riding Finnegan's Wake, who is 6-1. Got Corey Nakatani, another speed horse with Big Casanova. Motown Men is in good form. Top to bottom, Mike, just a really solid group. I mean, you don't see Joe Talamo on too many 50-1 shots. He's on a horse named Ladarius, who's that price, and that's a Peter Miller horse, too. So, all in all, I think this race really is, maybe even surprisingly, might come together as a really good quality big field.
And again, Ladarius might be a horse that had to need his last out, Kurt. We don't know if he's this good, but if the race falls apart, he might be running on, and Pete Miller just wants to be well represented in all categories pace-wise.
Yeah.
You mentioned Marino. Kurt, he's just a warrior, and Gio's going to lead him over there again. Cornelio Velasquez comes back out from back east to ride him. He's going to have some company up front, though, and that's going to make it tough on him, I think.
Good race. It's the 9th race on the card, and Mike, I've never said this in all the years covering the Gold Cup at Hollywood Park and at Santa Anita, but it's not the highlight of Saturday's program. I know that sounds very odd, but a pretty popular horse, American Pharoah, is going to be making an appearance on Saturday. Tell us what goes into that, Mike, on Saturday.
Well, he's going to be coming out between races 7 and 8, Kurt, and he's going to come straight from Baffert's barn as if he's going to the receiving barn. He'll come right over through the East Paddock Gardens. He'll make a couple of laps out in the walking ring. I don't think he's going to have any tack on. He's just going to be led by the handlers, and he'll take a couple of turns there in the Seabiscuit walking ring, and that's great access for the public, Kurt. And this horse, having been around him as we have now since he's come back from winning the Triple Crown, it's just amazing, Kurt, how calm he is, how collected he is. He knows he's good. I believe in my heart he knows who he is, that he knows he's something special. He's got an era class about him. Then he'll be led through the tunnel onto the main track. At some point in this mix, we'll play the gate-to-wire running of the Belmont, and he'll come on the track. He'll make a right. He'll go east here down to the clubhouse turn near the Eddie Logan Suite. He'll pose down there, come back to the winner's circle. Bob Baffert, Victor Espinosa will be there with some media, with Keith Brackpool. It's going to be a great event. I can't wait, and I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it.
Mike, you brought up something I talked about. We had some video before we had John a little earlier today, and I'm still amazed by it. You've been around a lot of good horses. I've been around a lot of good horses. You've been around a few more than me. Have you ever seen a horse of this quality combined with that temperament? I mean, I made the comment earlier, he's like a pet. He's like a dog. I mean, he goes up to people, he lays his head on people, and these are people who don't know their way around a racehorse. I've never seen something like that, Mike.
It's absolutely unbelievable. He acknowledges people.
Yeah.
He truly does, and he will pose. Now, that said, Kurt, when we brought him back here, it was a week ago today, this morning, from Ontario Airport, from Louisville, He did get a little stretched late in the proceedings, and Bob and I talked about that the next morning. He started pawing a little bit. You could see he was starting to get a little bit hot. It was enough. You know, it got a little claustrophobic. We had a crush of media out there that morning, and it was hot, too, you know. So he did start to feel the effects of it a little bit, but he's fresh now. Bob's just been jogging him, and you know, where they run next, nobody knows, but he's a treasure to behold, and I really am excited, and I think a lot of other people are, about him making an appearance here between races tomorrow.
Yeah, and you're right, Mike. It wasn't only hot, it was blazing hot that Thursday. That was a really, really warm day, so he'd had enough, and time to be a horse again. Mike, you and I have, as I said earlier, we covered a lot of Hollywood Gold Cups, and you and I both miss Hollywood Park a lot. We spent a good portion of our adult lives there, for better or for worse. Any really strong 1-2 year memories of the Hollywood Gold Cup? I've got a couple of my own, but anyone stand out to you from covering them over the years?
Kurt, I'm looking at the media guide, and I go way back to 1990. That was an epic running of the Hollywood Gold Cup. You had Wayne Lucas versus Charlie Whittingham. You had Criminal Type, a top older horse getting 5 pounds from a 4-year-old Sunday Silence. And there's a little background here. There had been a problem, it was alleged, with Jeannie Jones in the Breeders' Cup here at Santa Anita, where Charlie's assistant, Rodney Rash, had said that, well, the cameras flashing had maybe cost her a Breeders' Cup race. Well, as they're going to the gate, Rodney got into Mrs. Everett's ear and said, hey, we have cameras down here. Well, it was nothing new. We had Bill Frakes from Sports Illustrated set up down with remote cameras and everything. Anyway, Marge, as she tended to be, was a little impulsive, came charging down to the main track, and I'm down there, Kurt. I'm at the scale. And they ran the Sports Illustrated photographer off. And you know what it did? It cost us the cover of Sports Illustrated. Sunday Silence in those Calumet colors, the real Calumet colors, coming down head-and-head with the Derby winner from the year before Sunday Silence. But that was an unbelievable running, and Criminal Type had the best of it that day.
I'm amazed, Mike, that there was short-sightedness in our game causing us to miss publicity. That shocks me. Mike, I got a fond memory of a horse who I really was a fan of, Siphon. Richard Mandel and David Flores. And I know a lot of people realize he won the Gold Cup and the Big Cap, but he did what a lot of horses have not done. He won them in different years, which is hasn't been done a lot. He was a really good horse, and Flores fit him absolutely like a glove.
And Curtis, I know why you're bringing that up. You cashed that day.
That's always memorable, right, Mike?
Darren Rogers from the publicity staff. You guys were all smiles for a couple of months.
Yeah, that's back when that money meant something, Mike. We were working basically slave wages back then, right?
Yeah. I would say Siphon was impressive. Kurt and Skip Away, who went on to be Horse of the Year in 1998. He was absolutely lights out with Jerry Bailey for Sonny Hine. That day in 1998. That was something special.
I agree, Mike. I'm glad you brought up Skip Away, both the Breeders' Cup and Hollywood Gold Cup. He was a brilliant horse in person. He had that charisma and that flair, and he was a very, very fast horse. Thanks for the reminiscing, Mike. We're looking forward to the Gold Cup on Saturday and American Pharoah. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I will because we're friends. What are you looking for attendance-wise? I mean, what do you guys, I know it's hard to predict in this day and age, but what's the feel there, Santa Anita? How many people this horse is going to bring out?
Kurt, it's really tough to say.
Yeah.
It's hard. Look around Major League Baseball. It's difficult to get people to attend anything anywhere. Kurt, I'm hoping we go over 20,000, and I like the favorite Catch a Flight. And for me, in my heart of hearts, it's always going to be the Hollywood Gold Cup.
I am with you on that, Mike. We're traditionalists. Thanks, Mike. Looking forward to a big day of racing. We'll talk to you again soon.
Take care.